Since the war with Iran began, the United States and Israel have struck thousands of targets across the country, killing the supreme leader, striking schools and hospitals, UNESCO World Heritage sites. But there's one place that they've avoided: a tiny island in the Persian Gulf, because destroying it could trigger a global oil shock even greater than the one that we're experiencing right now. This is Kharg Island, a coral island just 5 miles long, about 27 miles off Iran's southern coast. It might look insignificant on a map, but it's arguably the most important economic site in Iran. That's because around 90% of Iran's oil exports pass through this island. Pipelines from oil fields across Iran all converge here. And from Kharg, giant oil tankers ship crude oil across the world. If Kharg stops operating, Iran's oil exports essentially collapse overnight. Every day, between 1.3 and 1.6 million barrels of oil pass through Kharg. Recently, Iran even ramped exports up to around 3 million barrels per day in anticipation of attacks. The island also stores about 18 million barrels of crude oil as reserves. Kharg is crucial because most of Iran's coastline is too shallow for massive oil tankers. But this island sits near deeper water, making it the perfect export hub, which means from a military perspective, it's an obvious target. Destroy it and you remove almost all Iranian oil exports from the global market. But experts warn that attacking Kharg could cause a massive shock to the global economy. Bombing or seizing the island would essentially take all Iranian crude exports offline, and that could send oil prices skyrocketing. Energy analyst Neil Quilliam warned that prices could jump dramatically, that we may see the $120 per barrel price heading to $150 if Kharg were attacked. And the world is already seeing the impact. Right now, tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important oil routes on Earth, has been severely disrupted. Normally, about 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow waterway. But because of the conflict, shipping traffic has dropped dramatically and many vessels are avoiding the area. Oil prices have already surged above $100 per barrel and at one point climbed as high as $126. Some analysts say that this could become one of the biggest energy shocks in decades. Gasoline prices around the world and even the United States itself are already rising sharply as the conflict disrupts oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. And when fuel prices rise, the ripple effects hit everything else: food, transport, electricity. Across Europe, leaders are scrambling to soften the blow of rising energy prices. Some countries are considering fuel tax cuts, while others are threatening windfall taxes on energy companies accused of profiteering. France has even started inspecting petrol stations to prevent price gouging, while places like Croatia have introduced temporary price caps on fuel. The European Commission is also urging strict enforcement of the G7 price cap on Russian oil, fearing that any relaxation could worsen the crisis. For oil importing countries like Pakistan, the situation is even more painful, which is why the government has introduced austerity measures, subsidy cuts, and higher fuel prices. And the political consequences could hit Washington too, because fuel prices tend to rise about 2.5 cents per gallon for every $1 increase in oil prices. And Americans are already seeing that effect. Since last weekend, gasoline prices have jumped about 15 cents per gallon on average across the US, according to GasBuddy. So if Americans start paying significantly more for gasoline, the war suddenly becomes a domestic political issue. In other words, President Trump may not feel the cost of the war on the battlefield, but he'll feel it when American drivers feel it at the gas pumps. So Kharg Island sits in a strange position. It's probably Iran's most vulnerable economic target, and yet it might also be too dangerous to destroy, because attacking it wouldn't just hurt Iran, it could shake the entire global economy beyond what we can imagine right now.